What is happening, Magnus sites? So, Assassin's Creed Shadows has been causing controversy. And in my reaction to the trailer, many of you knew that you sent me the video for me to react to it because you knew exactly what was going on with it. It is a product of our times, the times of today in entertainment. And as a black man, when I see a black samurai, I'm like, no, that's cool. I love Afro Samurai. But why is a time of feudal Japan with Assassin's Creed? Why is there not a Japanese man, but there's a black man there? It's weird because all the other times they've had people that represented their area. Wouldn't it be kind of strange if they had an African Assassin's Creed and the main male protagonist was a Japanese man? People would be like, what are you doing? That's what people are saying now. Because apparently fans have been waiting forever to have a Japanese Assassin's Creed, and now they do this. Even Japanese fans apparently are puzzled. And there's a video that's going around that we're going to take a look at from a guy named Kaida or Kada on Twitter. And he's explaining the whole thing. So let's take a look at that. See, Ubisoft, the fans are not angry because you put a black man in the role for a samurai in a game. That's not the problem. The problem is that you should have put a Japanese man there, and they know that you're only putting a black man there because of DEI and ESG and checking a box. And when you say, well, he was real, that's just like when comic book fans say, well, it was in the comics. Don't even try it. You know what the fans want. See, that's the issue. You know what the fans want. So when Disney goes back to an obscure comic or some alternate storyline to find a character that will fit their agenda, you're doing the same thing with this. You could have made a separate game about this person. And as a matter of fact, from what I'm hearing, he wasn't even a samurai. He was a retainer. So now it's you're trying to fit a round peg into a square hole with the fans, and the fans know why you're doing it. That's the problem. The fans know why you're doing it. The fans are down to see a black samurai all day long. But this is the time you decide to change up the representation for the country in which they know what you're doing. They're not stupid. It's more Panderverse stuff. So, yeah. And one more thing before we continue. Many of you that have watched me for years know that I own almost all of Tariq Nasheed's Hidden Colors movies. And in those, you learn about the dark-skinned Japanese, and you learn about the saying for having black in you, being a samurai. So if you have looked into history about black samurai, it's not a mystery to you. However, like I said, fans know what you're doing. Now, this particular fan here that we're about to check out, he knows what they're doing too. So let's take a look and see what this man has to say.
So we got our first look at the new Assassin's Creed game, and I gotta say, man, I'm not impressed. I'm actually just really annoyed right now. We have two main protagonists, one female, one male, just like Odyssey. I'm gonna be using Neo. I hope I said that right. A female Japanese character. And for the male character, they're gonna be using Yasuke. Now, I'm annoyed because they're using Yasuke, and I'm gonna tell you why. Yasuke is what they want to say is the first black Japanese samurai, when in all actuality, he was not even a samurai.
That's what I keep hearing.
He was a retainer. So he wasn't even a full-blown samurai. And for all of the characters they could have used for Japan, all these kind of different people they could have picked from, they picked Yasuke. Why do they pick Yasuke?
We know why.
Because he's black. So in context, that doesn't matter to me. Because in all the Assassin's Creed games, every single character has been of some kind of different race and nationality. So that doesn't matter to me. That's fine. But you have to understand what day and age we're in. You have to understand the kind of social shit that they want to try to get across in these video games now. So instead of using a Japanese man in a game based in Japan, like they did with the other Assassin's Creed games, Altair, he was an Arab, obviously. One of my favorites, Connor, in Assassin's Creed 3, he was Native American, that was fine. And the most famous of them all, Ezio Auditore, who was Italian. So why in all those games would you have a character representative of the region they're from? But in this game, you want to demote a Japanese man and then use Yasuke. I understand why, we know why, but they're not going to tell you why, because if you call it out, you're some kind of ist or phobe or whatever. And since I'm black and I'm calling it out, that means that I must hate my skin or something. You know how they do. I just see this and my immediate thought is they did this for brownie points. I can't think of any other reason why you would have a Assassin's Creed game based in Japan, which we've been clamoring for since the beginning of Assassin's Creed, and then have the main protagonist that is a male be black. I see that and I'm like, there's no other reason than I want claps for it. There's no other reason. And I'm an Assassin's Creed fan. I've played every game. I love every game. And one of my favorite characters is actually Cassandra from Odyssey. So nobody can sit here and say, I don't like women or I don't like diverse people or whatever, when one of my favorite characters is diverse. Hell, Connor Kenway and Hatham Kenway, those are some of my favorite characters from Assassin's Creed. So before the idiots want to start, that's not the reason. The reason is I see straight through this bullshit and I know exactly why they picked this character. It's annoying. That's like if Ghost of Tsushima, instead of using Jin, they use a white dude. People would be like, that doesn't make any sense. This doesn't make any sense to me. It's stupid. I know exactly why you're doing it. I see straight through it. It's annoying. It's pandering. It doesn't do anything for me but piss me off.
It is. It is. And if you're black and you say something about it, all of a sudden you don't like your color. You're an alt-right puppet. All this other dumb stuff. You're just like, wait, no. And what's funny, as a black man, you are expected online you have to support everyone and anyone black and everything that they do. Because if you don't, now you're bringing down another black man. Now you're doing it. Now you're a traitor to your race. Wait a minute. Every other race out there, when they have a problem with someone in their race doing something or doing something wrong, they're not called that. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous. So, yeah. And now we got this Forbes article where the Japanese fans are rather puzzled. They're perplexed. Don't confuse that with perfect plex. Japanese fans are puzzled that Yasuke is in Assassin's Creed Shadows. I am the League of Shadows, and we are here to fulfill woke destiny. The new trailer for Assassin's Creed Shadows has dropped, and this time it's set in feudal Japan, but some Japanese gamers are puzzled that it includes this Yasuke. Yasuke was an actual historical figure that lived in Japan during the 16th century and was most likely of African origin. He would have also been around during that time period that this game is set. However, almost nothing is really known about Yasuke, which in part means he's a great narrative blank slate to work with, but that isn't also without its pitfalls. You see, gamers have been waiting for Assassin's Creed to come to Japan for years now, It's the land of ninjas, the epitome of stealth. So it has always been a perfect fit for a gaming series built around stealthy assassinations in an interesting historical context. Now, one of the protagonists in Shadows is indeed a ninja from Iga. This is a very famous and important region in Japan, and in many ways is the birthplace of the ninja. I actually used to live in Maiken, and going to Yuno Castle was a lot of fun. Not least because you had all of the great exhibitions about the history of the ninja. So Iga is a big part of what the ninjas are in Japan. Anyway, why Ubisoft didn't just stop with making Shadows about ninjas in a series where you're meant to be stealthy. That's true, and assassinate people. It's somewhat beyond me. However, the issue start with the fact that the other protagonist is Yasuke, and now he's a samurai. Yasuke has been portrayed in a bunch of different ways over the years in anime, such as Afro Samurai, and the more recent Yasuke in Netflix. In these works, it was clear that this is meant as an entirely fictional what-if scenario, and they are all great. Having Yasuke depicted as a cool samurai was entirely fine, as it is clear that there was a great deal of artistic license involved. The issue here, and one that Japanese gamers are pointing out in the trailer for the game and elsewhere online, is that Assassin's Creed is a series around retaining a degree of fidelity in history. That in the games, in the series, people of that locale and period were consistent with that history and the varying host cultures. So changing it here is odd and not in keeping with the other Assassin's Creed games, which is what Japanese fans are mostly pointing out online. Yeah. So you can find this on Forbes and read the full article. Yeah, you know what they're saying. They're like, wait, why? You know what I'm saying? They're saying the same thing that the American fans are saying. So, yeah, post comments down below. Let me know what you all think about this situation. I know why it's being done, just like I know why other stuff is being put in our movies, in our video games, in our TV shows, and our cartoons for our children and stuff like that. So it's just the same old, same old. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It'll be really interesting to see how this game does when it comes out. 10 million subscribers.